Hi, everybody. It's good to see you, my loves. Yay. Oh my gosh. What an amazing morning, actually. I guess when you're teaching a channeling class, they really make you do it. I was almost like going into trance, but at the last 10 minutes, they're like, you're changing most everything. And that is so great. I had to track down this channeling I did like in 2011. Um, so I want to see what your power moves are. And let me see if I can get some better sounds going on too while you guys, because I really do want to see who's here, what you're planning or what your sense is of the year, what your sense of where things are going to move for you this year. And also, where would you like for it to move? And I'm also curious, how many of you already are channeling or consider yourself a channel? Let's see, in 20, let's see, as I was saying, in 2025, I intend to be more me and only do what I love. Slow down, play, and learn. Is it Isaiah or Isaiah? Isaiah, or I would love to know why. Why do you only want to do what you love? Why do you want to slow down and play and earn more doing so? Tell me that why. Fill us in. And let's see. Um, I'm excited about today. I'm excited about this 3 days because we're talking about channeling in a different way and for a different, in a way, a different community. Um, and so at least what Spirit was telling me. And they really want me to explain channeling in a different way than I bet a lot of people talk about it. So this is your first time channeling. Congratulations, Terry. You want an energetic and exciting year. Nice. Oh, to build your business, Dan. Yes, one of my favorite things to do uh, is building businesses. So good for you. What kind of business, by the way? Let me know. Shedding the old mold programming and feeling naked. Yay, Georgia. Ready to continue deeper inner work. Wonderful. And yeah, Georgia, I'm excited to have you in the academy again. And Jennifer, too. Yeah, I've been so wrapped up in the political drama in this country. Well, good for you for not disengaging, okay? Not totally disengaging, but it's a challenge to find balance, isn't it? Challenge to find that balance between it not hijacking your work, like your purpose, your medicine. Um, so this last election was your sign to focus more on your spiritual growth and service. Yes, that, there you go. Yep, that was definitely a big one that they were talking about just like in the last 15 minutes, of course, right before I got on. So, because when else? It happens to me when I'm leading in Casa Condor too. All the good stuff starts like, oh, but wait, here's more. And so Sarah's dabbled in channeling. Uh-huh. Definitely need more practice, don't we all? And no matter what level, there's always more to unfold. Andrea, your primary gift is channeling. Good for you. And Sarah, you'd love to get better at it. Yes, great. And Val is, you had two mediumship experiences. Amazing. So it's happening already. A lot of people's gifts are just kind of spontaneously opening up, or they know that they've had gifts for a really long time and are ready to kind of take them more seriously again. Maybe they were suppressed or locked down or whatever it was. Um, and channeling and receiving physical answers, very excited. Oh, acupuncture practice, right on, Dan. Yes. Okay, and Lynn, this year I plan on developing my gifts so I can use them to empower others I have not channeled before. Isn't that something how you have this desire to use these gifts that you're not even told, they haven't even exploded yet, but you have that sense, right? That something's in there. And I'm so glad you said that because I'm going to share a story about where I started a little bit that I don't think I've said in public before. That's why I was like, all right, let me track it down 14 years ago. Um, the service had, okay, service has been getting downloaded a lot. Yeah. Uh-huh. So you're hoping to start hosting well-being retreats. Yes, in your home and would love to develop skills to be an inspirational speaker. Thank goodness. Oh, mwah. The angels are so smart, right? Listen to these things, by the way, you guys. When you are having these ideas or concepts, please listen to those because the channeling helps us learn how to trust. But at first, it starts with this swirl of weirdness in our brain that makes us somehow believe we're capable of more for no good reason. Um, on the surface, no good reason. Uh-huh. You, you want to be free from hexes and spells and black magic. Interesting. Um, Jinn monitoring. Okay, familiar spirits, hexes, curses. Uh-huh. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. I love that. Okay. I love that. There's this channel. Okay. Because even this channeling that they had me pull almost addresses something like this, something about what you're talking about. Okay. So today we're talking about channeling. We're going to do our first step. Okay. And let me just get out some of my notes to make sure that I cover at least the stuff that they really insisted that I do with you. So. First of all, they wanted me to tell you guys, they wanted me to pass on a message. And this was part of it. Um, that first of all, they called you extraordinary. Like that was the first words. It's like you guys are here because you are extraordinary. And as much as I love to flatter my peeps because they deserve, you guys all deserve a lot of praise, even to just show up here and to be here. But it's like the power moves in 2025. I feel like for all of us are attached to this extraordinary nature inside of us. And some of us are at different stages of unlocking it. And every time you get to a new stage, it requires really shitty things like commitment, discipline, and sometimes like support. A lot of us don't like to ask for support. We're not feeling safe to get support. So if you are kind of in this, what's the word, pause, you know that there's this thing inside that's wanting to keep opening, or you've been trying to open that thing, but it's been stalling for like a year or 2 years. Um, these are signs that, especially, these are signs that it's a really good idea because the resistance that rises and the demons that rise sometimes are far greater than that small voice inside. And so this channeling that we're doing over the next 3 days, and for those of you who don't know, I'm kicking off a 3-month channeling series starting next Wednesday. The reason why this channeling thing is so not just channeling, I kind of get pissed, let me just full disclosure, about how people talk about spiritual things, you know. They're going to call them, you know, things like new age or oh, channeling, like eye roll. And from my not just my experience in teaching this shit for 10 years internationally, okay, to people all over the world, but from my own life experience, it is the rudest, biggest lie that channeling is just some uh, weird little side gig. Channeling should be a fundamental. If you are coming in from a heart-centered, mission-centered life, okay? If you know that you want more meaning in your life, you want to feel more purposeful, um, because right now is a time where the lens, the magnifying glass, is getting put on us right now, on all of us. And those of us are noticing our spiritual bellies are not easily quenched. You know, it's like we're noticing this emptiness. The things that we're so successful at right now sometimes don't even feel like they even match up. It's hard to feel satiated by it. And Spirit wanted me to talk about this spiritual belly because it is that soul craving you to find the different food that's meant to fill this part of your stomach, your spiritual stomach, at a different level. And so it's going to push us into edgy territory first. And your task is all of our tasks because you have your blueprint. You know what it is you're meant to at least start off with. And so those first stirrings of what this year is about are good signs. It's not a guarantee that they're totally in alignment with your purpose. And when I say purpose, that's another word that's highly at risk of being cast aside as like, oh, it's this new age spiritual talk. In the Old Testament, not that I'm not a religious person, okay? I'm spiritual and I'm a enthusiast. I study a lot. I study some of the ancient texts and I look for those universals. One of those universals is stating something like, we were created beings, being put here with purpose. It's in the Old Testament. It's in Hindu philosophy. It's called Dharma. And you can choose to believe that you're perfect, that you came into this carcass here, these things are weird, okay? These bodies, you came here first of all, to master something, to learn something, but if you happen to gain a level of mastery around those things, then it's also to provide something, okay? To offer a blessing or to share whatever blessings that you've had. And it's at that stage where life does become a co-creation is one of the words that are coming up at least this year in my one of my year-long communities, which is called the Inner Sanctum. And so channeling is not just a way to connect with the divine or talk to angels. A lot of people come into leaning into channeling because like, oh, I want to talk to spirit. You know, like I want to get to know my angels. I want to hear my clear guidance so I can take steps or so I can blow other people's minds and show them that spirit is real. And all of those things are powerful desires, powerful entry points into this wonderful world of what we're calling today channeling. But each of us is already a channel. Now, with this spiritual belly, okay, what makes people like you extraordinary is that you're leaning in. Okay, not everybody is. You're listening to the call. Not everybody is. And you're believing in things like, I want to heal people. I don't even know how to heal. I want to touch lives with my intuitive gifts. I don't, I'm pretty sure I suck. I don't even know anything. But it's this urge. That's how it happened for me too. I would have these visions of like, God, that would be just really fucking fun. Too bad I wasn't born, talking to dead people like all these, clairvoyants and psychics are talking about. Too bad I wasn't, born having angel apparitions in my face and seeing them coddle me or lights in my crib, like nothing. No photos of me with lights in my crib. All right. No signs that I could do a goddamn thing. Yet it was there. Same for you. That's channeling already. Becoming conscious of the fact that you're channeling is one of the challenges. And then actively taking it as a path is also a challenge. Taking anything as a consistent pathway is a challenge. So, stepping into 2025, they're saying is a great opportunity for you to come into deeper alignment with this purpose. And there's a lot of meanings for whatever meaning you want to make of when I say step into a next level or a deeper layer of your purpose, choose that meaning, because it's got a lot of meanings depending on where you're at on your path. Um, Sometimes the purpose is to slow down. Sometimes the purpose, at least for the year, is to speed up. It is to craft something, create something, to take and make bids for power, to claim something from spirit. Hey, spirit, I'm so fucking done of running in place that I'm willing to do something new. I'm willing to take that extra risk. I'm willing to invest my time, invest my energy, sacrifice my old belief system, get rid of fucking one or two toxic people, start saying no to things I really don't want to do, and more yes to things that my heart that lights me up. Like we have to make these offers and sacrifices in order to come into alignment. So when I say alignment, I'll just break it real down, real simple before I share this thing that I'm supposed to share with you. Alignment is, that when you feel like that flow, like things are moving. And then when you start getting misaligned, shit gets really crunchy. It gets crunchy, and sometimes it can feel so crunchy that you feel like spirit might be punishing you or that there is no God. You can lose hope, lose faith, lose your really in its worst place, in its hardest, one of our most challenging places is when we actually want to take our lives. Because what's the fucking point? How many of you have been there? I've been there. I've lived there for a while in that mindset. Sometimes it's a nice place where I like to go back and visit. Sometimes not for as long as before, but I can still have those thoughts. Like, what? I mean, does it have to be this intense? And those things are opportunities, and how they've given me this vision of, and gave it to me maybe about 8 years ago, of what alignment is and what it's not, is that when things get super edgy and you feel like you're bouncing up against this invisible body condom, and no matter what you do, you just can't break through, it's telling you in a way to pause. And they show me like you launch a bowling ball down a lane, and it's like bumper bowling. And so when you get too far to the left or too far to the right, the ball's going to bounce against the edge. And so the question always is, how do you realign that ball so that you trust that no matter what's happening, you're still going in the right direction? Because sometimes when you're bouncing against the wall, it's definitely not a sign you're in the wrong direction. It's a sign that there's something deeper inside that wants to be looked at, that there might be at a soul level a new aspect or a new message or some new medicine. It might be time to let something go that's keeping your ball off track. When we get too butthurt, too resentful, or our energy is getting expended in ways that is no longer serving us, it will feel like we're bouncing off that wall until we do course correction. And so course correction is what I'm talking about when it comes to power moves in 2025. So it's not ever like, because we're in these human bodies, they wanted me to let you know, like, it's always going to be like the waters are always going to be tricky here and there, but you become more fluid as a navigator and you start believing more and building trust and confidence, at least in your ability to have some weird ass wisdom and knowledge before you ever should. Okay. And trust your personal channeling, because it's not just about connecting to divine guidance. It is a method of extreme transformation when you take it seriously and when you start believing, listening to the guidance that you receive and taking action. And some of the guidance that you get might be so freaking improbable and impossible. It's easy to just throw it away and just be like, this is freaking hogwash, because what comes through is like pretty different than your usual state of being. So they wanted first to convey you have a purpose, and that to explore purpose in a whole different way. What is that purpose? So today we're going to do an exercise based on this writing that I did. That's why I had like last minute, what are we doing? Because it's like 14 years ago, okay, that I did it. And I want to read this to you, or they wanted me to read this to you to show you the power of channeling, and also to show you that if you are already channeling or you just started channeling or whatever, you channel for this 3 days. And if you choose to join us for the 3 months, but even if this 3 days, I want you to think of it as this is a fucking template for where I may be headed. And if I may be headed there, is there nothing that I would do for it, right? Is there hours of time? Is there a cost that would be too high for you? Is there time that you wouldn't invest? If it was a guarantee that whatever comes through is really why you're here, if it's the real deal, okay? Because it wasn't until I started taking it seriously until shit started happening. So now I'm going to read you this is this embarrassing channeling. and um and it was with an angel, I didn't know at the time, it was one of my angels who helped store my blueprint. They were, it's like an angel that would tell me stuff, and I would think, am I just making this shit up? Just like everybody thinks that in the beginning. And then the only way to know is to take some time and start aligning your life. Start taking more risks, start believing it. But channeling in the beginning, plant seeds for this shit. So here we go. And at the end, I'm going to take you through a process. These days, I don't want them to be too long. I want them to be, these 3 days, manageable for you. But at the end of today's session, I do not want you to put down what, I want you to pick up what I'm actually putting down. And I want you to actually do the process and do the homework for today. And I need you to come back tomorrow. I want you to finish today and tomorrow and the next day. The next day, I'm going to open it up more to questions about the work that we just did over the 3 days. Or if you're curious about joining us in this next thing, this next deep dive. And so it's like the first part of the Angel Alchemy Academy, which is the 6-month program, but you can just take the first 3 months if you just need to freaking lock in your channeling, and you need an environment to do that because you're not as disciplined on your own, and you need to build trust in the information that you're getting. So here's the thingy, all right? And so I asked this angel, okay, this is before well, I'll tell you in a second. I'll just tell you now. This is before anything. I was not doing angel sessions with people. I had an angel encounter. I had my miracle, but I was not like doing anything professionally or anything. Okay. So it said, Dear Corinne, trapped deep within your body is an eternal wellspring of joy and compassion. This is your center, the center of the sun, your sun. I stand on your right hand, waiting for your call. Use me to write from your heart, to speak your truth. Call upon me for your spiritual writings, and lift your mind to the heart. And these writings lift your mind to the heart of God and gold. Lifting your mind to the heart of gold for your first writing. And don't worry about whether or not you know much about the topic. I will provide you with the information. I am the messenger, the traveler between worlds, perched on your shoulder with and a small whisper of the light, the truth, your truth. And you know what? I think I'm just going to read just a little bit more. Oh, because there was more to it. Um, they talked about at all of our cores, there's a wellspring of peace, of health, of well-being. This core beats with the heart of God. The truth of us as we are stripped down without all of the muck and worldly attachments. Many of us have forgotten who we are, peaceful beings of love and joy, ever creating simply from the joy of being here in creation, singing, dancing, um, and yada, yada, yada. It kept going. Um, and they talked about over time, our minds become filled with toxic negativity that block the light of the sun, our beautiful core, like dark thunder clouds in the sky. The reality of these clouds does not lessen the beautiful splendor of your sun or diminish its light in any way, except for from our earthly perspective. The sky appears dark. Rise above the clouds and the sun, or rising above the clouds and the sun, still burns ever brightly, so brightly behind the temporary storm. So these emotional blocks can easily clear if you focus on the reality of the light behind them, the ever burning sun breathing its love and life upon us. And thus, this principle is the same for each of us. If within us we remember and connect with our innermost light, we give less power to the darkest clouds, since we are constantly creating on an unconscious level by focusing on our light, with which we open our pathway for light to come forward and manifest in our worlds. And it says, choose light. It goes on, but choose light, choose love, choose peace, choose harmony, choose beauty. Direct your mind to these universal principles and watch your life change. So they insisted that I read this. This is on record, the first channeling I ever did. And on record, the first time that I looked at something uh, that was spiritual that I had written and said, absolute and complete total bullshit. Okay. I was not a writer. I had no dreams of becoming a writer, no dreams of publishing a book, not even a dream of being a spiritual teacher or speaking spiritual things. Um, Zero clues. Okay. Never in, I was what? I was in my late 30s, wasn't even a concept or idea, but highly traumatized human I was. My psyche was full of clouds, full of the lies. I had zero trust in myself and was still just struggling to stay alive at that time. So, channeling, as I said before, is not what people, it's so much more intense than what people think, especially in the beginning stage, when you're so sure it's bullshit. And all of these teachings, I was reading through the whole thing the first time I just found it last year, and I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, word for word, these are the things I talk about today that I had no concept of really before. Like I was still proving out this theory or theorem, right? Because I was still mostly like in a suffering state. I mean, I had my miracle, but it was right in the beginning stage where I was at risk of keeping it a hobby, keeping it this cute side thing, as opposed to the core of how I move in life. And so channeling became the core of how I moved in life. And because of that, within it was 3 years, everything started like it started changing right away. But then my 5 years after that first channeling was really looking super different in a good way. It was really quickly within that 10 years, I published a book. I had an international following. I was already teaching intuitive healing arts. I wasn't even an intuitive healer back then. I had a blossoming practice of spiritual clients that were coming. My income multiplied by 10. And it was because of these seeds that came from the channeling and my commitment to them. So I need you to actually pick up what I'm putting down here, especially if you've done this work for a while and it's gone stale and there's something new trying to emerge. If you get too attached, so I could have still been attached to the fact that I'm a healer, all right? But I had to change that too. That's not that I want to teach healers. I want to teach intuitives, and I love teaching and working in person and doing healing work. But even how I heal now in real time, like when I work in Casa Condor, which is I have a fucking retreat center. Okay, that's what it's insane. All right, channeling is not like I said, it's not the weak shit that people kind of convey it. It's a tool, but you have to use it as a tool and use it as a method of listening, trusting, and doing, not just doing, but embodying. And embodying what? It's not just the frequency of the angels. It's your own freaking power. It's your own medicine and your ability to freaking show up all the way, be real, authentic, say some shit that's going to sound weird, and be willing to take the risk. People are going to fucking hate us. They're going to hate us when we start showing up. And so when you finally start getting some pushback in the world, it's a sign you're becoming yourself and you're listening to the seeds that were dropped. And that's how powerful these seeds can be. So my goal for this 3 days is to connect you with the power of the one who I will call your angel of purpose, though this can go by many names depending on your framework and what you do. Okay. But they wanted me to talk about embodiment. So, what do you think about them apples, guys? They are not one to mince words. All right. But I hope this inspires you to really take this path seriously and critically. Um, just because of that weird, I couldn't even believe it when I read, because I just found it last year and I was like, holy hell. I was like wishing I kept all my other channelings that I just thought were total bullshit. Um, so so good for you. So I'm happy that you guys are here. Like I said, extraordinary that you're here. Um, and knowing so many people that work as channels, it can be very powerful, but it is the energy you put behind it. It is your openness and your willingness to gaze at the sun that stands behind the darkest clouds and to stay focused on that. There's a few different ways that we do that. So, all right, let me see if I got through all these little like first points um for you. Uh or like these last minute points that they wanted to bring into your at least consciousness. And for those of you who are channeling already, I definitely want you to feel into like which parts of that of this first preamble really stood out to you as maybe those are nuggets to help you next level your 2025. What are the things that I may have said that were triggering, not in a good way, or triggering in an inspired ways? Whatever way they're triggers, it's still really good, you know, because it's territory that we either know that we need to move in or territory that we might be repulsed by, and that's shadow shit. And so in the shadow lies everything. My shadow was totally buried, the good stuff in my shadow, until I started channeling and it started planting those seeds of really just possibility. If you know my history, you know there was no possibility before that. So, uh-huh. Is it Shuv or is it Vice? Ireland, Adrian, hi. Good to see you. I just, if you have any questions or any thoughts about what I just said, please put them down. I'd love to hear from you. Um, and the spirit always has so much more to say these days. And it could be, thank God channeling helps. Because it's even in periods when I feel like there's no inspiration. And then all of a sudden it comes when I prepare myself, when I commit to doing something like showing up for you guys or teaching a class, and I could be in the dark clouds, but the commitment, the follow through, it takes, especially this heart-centered stuff, it takes a lot to do it. Consistency. Like I said, all those things is just like it, but it gets really fun. So, oh, I love the Irish. Oh my God, I miss Ireland, you guys. I have to go back, right? Jeez. I haven't, yeah, I need to get international again. It's been a while. You're not running in place, Lori. You moved ahead. Good. So continually feel into what power moves are you being guided to take. If you want to write a book, just fucking write it. Um, if you don't think you want to write a book, you might want to look again. Uh, is there a practice to clear the resistance to seeing the sun behind the clouds? There's so many of those practices. All of us are different, but I'm going to say getting getting out of your head about things and getting into action. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about the embodiment of this stuff because a lot of people when they do channeling, they're doing it like, "Oh, okay, I'm got the visions. I got like back then I was just channeling like, okay, what's coming through?" The embodiment wasn't happening yet. The full personality transformation and life transformation wasn't happening yet. So we're going to talk a little bit about embodiment tomorrow. But today, I just want you to focus on connecting with the carrier or the storer of your blueprint or your purpose, whatever words you want to use. You can call it your angel of purpose. This particular a being is still with me. They show up in a variety of forms. One of the ways that they show up is the god of communication, the angel of communication. In Egyptian terms, it would be Thoth. Um, Other deities associated with them would be like Mercury. So I'm really close companion with this one. And I think that's why I doubted it, because I'm like, yeah, right, right. Making that shit up for sure. But yours can come in a lot of different ways. Keep an open mind. Yours could be like, I don't know, a yak. It doesn't matter. All right. Whether you're visual or not, how spirit comes through initially is very unique to all of us. But I'll just give you a rundown of the basic ways. Through a feeling, a physical feeling or an emotional feeling, through a thought or thinking. Okay, so you might just have a flash of a thought. Some of us are claircognizant, and those flashes of thought seems too easy to come, so we're going to discount it. Don't. Just write it down. Write down whatever it is that comes. If it comes fast, write it down. If it comes on super slow, write it down. If it is words that you're hearing and it sounds like just your voice, write that shit down too. If you're used to channeling and it doesn't come through in the way that you're used to your channeling come through, definitely write that shit down. A new level, new opposite of devil, okay? So you might have a different guide or a different medicine come through that feels foreign to you. You're like, okay, that's not my usual how it comes through. Good. Staleness is not good for the evolving heart, the opening of soul. So listen to the acute side things, please. Um, touch on your body, a sense of your body is another way. A smell. So I went through the eyeballs, also visually. If you're a visual person and you have some natural dormant abilities, you can see flashes of light, or you might have your eyes open and all of a sudden you're called to look at a magazine cover and it's got like a monkey on it. Those kinds of things. Like learn to trust the little subtle fun things and play with them. There's no risk at playing with these things. There is a risk of denying them. And like so many of you, like when I go live, I'm a totally different person. I'm so quiet. I feel like I have nothing to say. And then I hit like Zoom and all of a sudden I'm like, blah, and it's like, what the hell is going on? So we all have some weird shit in us. It's fun to explore. Channeling gets us there. Um, personality transformation. That's the path. If I didn't make this overtly clear, because maybe I don't sometimes in just beginning stage stuff, but it is a path of initiation. Learning to channel and taking it seriously is a path of initiation, and and it's self-mastery, straight up. It's self-mastery in a different form, but it again depends on how willing you are to lean in, how willing you are to risk your time, risk the possibility that it's all bullshit, but do it anyways. Uh, risk your, what do you want to call it? What are those things called? I've thrown it. Your reputation. Mine's so far gone now. It's destroyed. It's not no longer a concern since I'm not a wonderful, just a therapist anymore. Okay. So we're going to do an invocation. And this first step is I just want you to feel it, this being that we're connecting, this channeling being that wants to help you drop down some power moves and some truth and some wisdom from your deepest layer, whether it's just going to stand on your left side or right side. Today's simple. All right. Because in this channeling, mine was standing, I stand at your right hand. Like, hey, that's good to know. Okay. So first, we're just going to open up our senses and just get a hunch of where this being is. Then your homework is going to be to get in there, sense again, and just ask for a name. Keep it simple. First is about trust, okay? And open your mind, because my sense today is that new beings coming through for us. New year, new beings, new cycle, I think we're all also headed into. So now that you've written down your notes, I want you to sink into your heart. And we all have a part in us that wants to kind of deny that we're connected to spirit and stuff. It's just part of the game we play. Um, so let's just like acknowledge that part, give it some love. Hey, I see you. Thanks for being around so long. And I'm just going to ask you to just kind of step aside a little bit. You can say, you can just step aside, just leave one little crack in the window of possibility open. Wonderful. So I'm going to do an invocation. Anchor down. There's so much of the embodiment practices that I won't do over the next 3 days. But part of the work is getting in your body and just letting yourself sink and dropping all this mind energy down into your heart. So touch your heart, because the pulse of your sun, one of the biggest portals is through your heart. So how do you break through the dark clouds? You look past the dark clouds, touch your heart perhaps today, and make an intention that you're going to be channeling from the center of your sun, whatever that means. We don't know. Doesn't matter. It's just your intention that counts, the center of who you are. So, creator of all that is, all of the archangels, we ask that you hold a beautiful space around us, one that keeps us open and clear and receptive to the feeling or the sense of where this guide, this angel that Corinne speaks of, stands, this carrier of my purpose, the one who knows, the one who knows me most intimately, and what moves I am to make in 2025. Power moves. So first get a sense, and I want you to invite your body to let it feel this presence on one side or the left, because you can just ask, where do you stand, left or right side? So there's different ways that it could come through. So just pay attention. Sometimes it's just your first hunch. Take a few breaths with me. Sink into your body. Quit trying, by the way. You don't have to try. Just you don't have to get it right either. So the perfectionist one, You could set that one aside too. Take a few breaths, relax. You were designed to receive this stuff. We were all designed for this. We are already channels. So smile down to your heart. Put a smile in there. Smile. Hi. As if you're talking to like the center, this other heart in another far off galaxy. That's your absolute perfection, absolute connection to the divine. Like, so smile, relax your neck, your shoulders, your body. Take breaths that are beyond your upper chest. Relax your belly too. Lower belly stuff. Just relax your belly and become aware that you have a whole entire torso, not just this rapid heart and achy little back. Okay. A whole body, a whole torso, down a beautiful head. And by claiming your own space, your own body, noticing the difference between what the left part of your body feels like and the right part of your body. How does the top of your left hand differ from the top of your right hand? How does the left shoulder feel different from the right side? So eventually, through embodiment, you do get to a place where you can feel spirit with you. And when you can feel spirit with you, you can no longer deny it. So that's always my goal eventually, right? And one of the goals that I hold for all of our community in the channeling class, but also in the last 6 months, last 3 months, which is about the healing part. So they're here. Okay, so let me know if you sense where it stands. Left, right, left, right. Notice, tell me if you can feel a difference. Sometimes it's like maybe a light tingling on the left shoulder or the right shoulder. Maybe one shoulder gets hot, or one shoulder gets heavy, or one side of your body goes numb, or one starts tingling. Okay, so now you want to ask, can you turn it up 5%, 10%? Let me feel it or sense you more so that I know I'm not making shit up. Okay, Franny, your right side got lighter. Okay, so you can ask, hey, thank you. And I want you to now receive the energy if you can. Let yourself receive the love or the support from this being. No, you don't have to get messages, but can you just let your body feel allied with it? Let your senses go, wow, this could be an actual friend here of mine that I didn't know about. Hi, thank you. Give it gratitude if you do sense it. Thank you for showing me to you. Wow, thank you. Give it words of beauty or of awesomeness. I'm excited to get to know you over this next few days. Let yourself, I like to use the word penetrated because it's graphic, but be penetrated by the love, by the support, by the power. Remember, like choose that, choose to feel it. And stop resisting just because there might be some dark clouds in your landscape. The sun's always right there. Take a few breaths, receive it even more. Sometimes through our breath, we can take in more love of whatever beautiful one is standing with us or making themselves known to us. Feel that love because all good channeling comes with an excessive amount of open-heartedness, of a willingness to be loved, to accept love, to know that you're worthy of love. Because a lot of us had to learn conditional love as opposed to just love for no reason. Um, I didn't know that we got just they just love they just love us. They just love you too, all of us. So make it a point to say yes to it. And if you can't feel, you didn't feel or sense anything today, I don't care. All right. It comes and it will come with diligence, with practice. And I'm saying this as a professional who've trained hundreds of persons from all over the world. If you commit and if you're disciplined about making contact, contact will be made, period. Chris has got the cold sensation on your left side. Yeah, what up? Say hi. And so that mostly concludes today. Your homework is to stay in connection, to start relating, and to see if you can come up with a name later, okay? So if you can't come up with a name, make some shit up because a lot of times that thing you feel like you're making up is the actual name. And I'll show you how to test the name tomorrow, okay? How to know if it's true tomorrow. Oh, Merrick is feeling the dysfunction in your right shoulder melt away as you accept my angel. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you very much for saying that because that is often what happens. The disease or the surface clouds start melting. And sometimes our physical pain is just old clouds lingering, trying to get cleared in one way or another. So how wonderful. You're crying, Merrick. That's so sweet. Ah, may these blessings continue for you and for all of you. And I'm so grateful to these angels who came today and who got my attention. I can be so dense and focused sometimes on work. I'm so grateful they got my attention and said, "Stop. We got some other shit." You know, because how sweet. How sweet. Tomorrow, we're going to practice even more, deepening the embodiment and allowing this movement through us, through the tips of our hands, and onto a page in different ways. So I love that it's so beautiful for you. It's when we let ourselves feel them, right? It is beautiful to feel them. As I said before, channeling is so much more than what people say or people write about if we let it. And it is my goal always to bring it as a tool and a mechanism for deeper peace, for deeper transformation, no matter what stage of life. For the younger ones, yes, what a great way to freaking work with your next 30 years, 40 years, or 50 years. For our middle-aged siblings, you know, that we know like, God, life got too tight and there's just something wrong. I need to readjust. I need to realign. The channeling helps. For our wiser siblings, what a fucking incredible way to make peace with our skin sheddings that we've done our whole lives, and eventually our final skin sheddings, and to leave a beautiful legacy behind of a deeper belief, a deeper communion, a deeper relationship, and whatever wisdom starts flowing through. I'm writing that shit down for the rest of us to read, please. We need all the help we can get. So I love you guys in advance. There's so many new people here. It's wonderful to see your faces. So many, even people who've trained with me. Good to see you guys too. And a lot of you guys that are coming to join us in the 3 month already. So I'm glad you guys are here too. Remember your homework, commit to it. But come tomorrow and we'll get to playing some more. The sun is always shining, okay? So let it warm you up starting now. Oh, thank you guys. We'll see you mañana. Same time. Mwah.